Motivation, not always easy to come by. This one is to try to get this take action challenge, is to try to get ourselves motivated, to keep us going and to give us a purpose for doing some of these challenges and some of the other, to have some reasons why you should keep going and why you should challenge yourself. So, Dr. Aziz says in this podcast, which is the power of exposure, to ask yourself the following question: what do I want in my life? In other words, what is the purpose? What do I want? Why do I need social confidence? What is it going to give me? So, hopefully, that'll pull us forward. For myself, I said I want to be comfortable in my own skin, to let the walls down and be friendly and open with people. I want to build a good network of friendships and relationships, eventually consisting of one romantic partner, 3 or 4 close friends that I can be totally vulnerable and open with, and a variety of friendships, acquaintances, and business colleagues to engage with. I want to build a good career without fear and performance anxiety limiting my progress. I want to be able to trust and love myself on a deep level, and to be able to listen and rely on that inner voice. That voice, people would say God, some would say your conscience, your intuition, your inner whatever way you recognize that inner voice, but to be able to build a trust with that inner voice. So those are some of the things I've come up with. I'm sure there's more if I meditated on it for a little while. Speaking of meditation, there's also a bonus challenge if you'd like to take it on. And that was because, like I was saying earlier, this podcast was based on the power of exposure therapy. So the guest suggested doing up a fear hierarchy. Now, the way I decided to do it was to come up with some challenges that to my directly related to some of the things that I wanted for my life. So some of the things that I wanted, I tried to say, well, what can I come up for this, and try to rank them and create a little hierarchy. So the easiest one, number one, would be to meditate on making peace with myself. Number 2 on my hierarchy would be to look in the mirror and say nice things to myself. A lot of these I've tried before, but it does not hurt to do them over again. So you can practice, you can smile, just look into the mirror, make some eye contact, say, I love you. Or if that's a little bit too hard, you can say, I like you, or I'm learning to love you. I'm learning to like you, and just have a little inner dialogue with yourself. It seems silly. It definitely seemed a little bit weird for me the first time I did it, but it's something I haven't done in some time now, and I do remember getting value out of it. So I'm going to put that one on my hierarchy again. A lot of these, it's good to do them over and over, repeated exposure, of course. How about this one? Excuse me. Number 3, be alone with my thoughts for 1 hour. That one is a difficult one for me. I have trouble finding an hour. I find it a little bit, my thoughts are so racy that it's often difficult to carve out more than 5 or 10 minutes. And even then, it's sometimes a challenge. So I know I can do it, obviously. I should be able to be alone with my thoughts for 1 hour, but by having it down, I can schedule it and just give it a try, and just observe my thoughts, see what come up. Number 4, I put down to reach out to one person a day on the phone or internet. Very easy challenge to do in practice, in I guess in talking about it or writing it on the page, but harder in practice is what I should say, because doing it for 1 or 2 days, like a lot of things I find, is easy, but the consistency. So could be you could make it easy one day, call your mom or call a close friend, call if you got to call a pizza shop or whatever the case may be. But if you just set that directive to yourself, that give yourself that little challenge, um, you'll find that after a while you're going to be creative and you're going to probably start calling some of the people that you've been putting off calling, which I know I personally put off calling or reaching out to a lot of people. Somewhat related is to say hello to one person a day in passing. This can be a stranger, this can be a colleague at work, this can be your neighbor, pretty much anyone. Just set yourself at one a day. If you can get 10, get 10. That's great. A lot of people, they smile, it's a bit friendly. Just adding that to their day is a great thing, and it adds to you. It gives you just that little sense of happiness, of connection, of confidence. So give that one a try. That's on my list anyway. So if you would like to put it on yours, of course. Let me see what else I had related to career. It was to call and check on some college or university courses. Now this one I have been putting off for some time. Definitely one that I have to get on once it's on paper. Get myself to act, decide to act, follow through. What's the worst that can happen? I'm getting an exposure and experimenting just by making the call, just by going in and possibly seeing what's available. So great challenge to kill two birds with one stone. Number 7, make small talk with a business acquaintance or manager. Of course, you could try to do this on an ongoing basis. We just mentioned saying hello a few back, saying hello to your colleagues on the way in. So one thing I can do is make small talk with my colleagues, but also with my managers. Authority figures have been problematic for me. So it's good to have a little conversation and make things a little bit easier, hopefully, as time goes on. What do we got next? Open up to a trusted friend. This one can be challenging. We did talk about it on a previous challenge. Myself and James opened up about shame and vulnerability. So it may be you want to get something off your chest, or it may just to be open up and talk about, could be your social anxiety, it could be anything at all. What do we have next? Go to some interesting events, a meetup or a social function. So a great way to network, a great way to get outside of your comfort zone, a great way to share activities that you enjoy with people. So there's that one. And then the last one is number 10. I got down, if single, ask someone out on a date. Of course, if you are in a relationship like myself, then you can ask a good friend out for a coffee. Just the process of asking someone out sometimes can cause us a little anxiety. So, and like I said, if you're pretty close to a close friend and you ask them out, and that's a little bit challenging. Ask an acquaintance out. So all of these you can make less or more hard, but these are just mine. Your challenge, of course, is to, once you do step 1, the main challenge, of course, is to answer the question, what do you want in your life? What are your goals? What are your objectives? Why are you trying to increase your social confidence? And then number 2 is a bonus one, if you'd like to answer it, is to come up with a fear hierarchy. So, and you don't have to do it like I've done it. You can take a specific fear and break it down into steps, such as public speaking. Of course, these are all, you work them out to the best of to what suits you. So that's That's what I did. These are the ones that I could work on to meet some of my goals and objectives. Hopefully you will take the challenge as well. It can only benefit you. There's nothing, there's something I've been putting off far too long, having fuzzy goals and objectives. So by getting some of this stuff down on paper and even some follow-up things that I could do for those goals and objectives, it can't hurt and can probably help. Plus, you're also using your journal. I'm incorporating some of the previous challenges into them as well, of course, because it's all part of my goal or objective in overcoming social anxiety. So give us some feedback. What are your reasons for trying to gain social confidence and move away from social anxiety or shyness? What are some of your fear hierarchies, if you'd like to make one up? And hopefully we will meet again on the next challenge. Hope to hear some feedback. Thank you.